All right, class. This is a video where I will demonstrate two homework problems from Homework Set 5, Section 2.1. This is the first of 6 homework packets where we will be exploring deductive thinking and starting with one property and deducing another based off of these figures and exploring geometry, the geometric shapes. First, we're starting with angles, and in this particular problem, we want to find a measure of angle B, so we should attenuate to that. We want to have a plan. We want to make a plan to find angle B using the properties that we know. And the properties that we know and we pick the ones that are relevant to our picture, and we put the plan into our scratch work. Okay. And then once we figure out our plan, we're going to write the steps in a nice logical way under the teacher solution column here. So what we have available to us are 4 tools. The first one is angles at a point, which means that all of the angles around a point add to 360. The second one we have is angles on a line. All of the angles that are along a straight line add to 180. Then we have angles in a right angle, which all of the angles inside a right angle is signified by a box, add up to 90 degrees. The fourth one is vertical angles, which means two angles on opposite sides of 2 intersecting lines are equal. Let's take a look at the particular figure that we have for number 7. We need to find the measure of angle B, and so we have other angles and other numbers represented here. So let's see what we have. We have 60 degrees is this angle, 65 degrees is this angle, and this angle has a box, so it's 90 degrees. We can deduce that. We're going to go ahead and deduce that that's 90 degrees without really saying any geometric statements. We can just go ahead and write 90 and then use that. This has a bunch of angles. There's no real straight lines here, so I can't use the second one. But I can, let's see if I can look at the first one, angles at a point. Okay, so I have this angle here, this one here, this one here, this one here, 4 angles that add up to 360, and I know the measures of all of them except for B. Okay, and so that looks like it's the one that will fit the most. And so what we're going to do is we're going to say in our scratch work, use angles at a point. Because if I add all of these angles together and set them equal to 360, I can solve for B. So let's go ahead and do that in our teacher solution. I'm going to start with B plus 60 degrees and just kind of go around in clockwise circle, plus 90 degrees plus 65 degrees is equal to 360 degrees. Okay? So in this long equation, I don't really have much room for my reason right here. So I'm going to go ahead and write it just a little bit below. You want to try and keep it in the same line if you can, but here I'm going to put it a little bit below. And the rest of my algebra work, I'm going to do a little bit lower than that so I can make it all clear and make it nice. Okay. So for my algebra work, I'm going to add up the angles here of 60 and 90, and I get 150. And I'm going to add in 65 for that, and I get 215 degrees. Okay. So B plus 215 degrees is equal to 360. What I did there was an arithmetic move, so I don't need a reason. And I want to have each statement, I want to have a nice line to make it easily readable by anybody who reads it. So we have these 2 statements. We need to find B, so we got to do one more. We're going to subtract 215 degrees from both sides. And you can put this step on, or you can skip it and just say B is equal to, I subtract off 360, I get 10 minus 5 is 5. 5 minus 1 is 4. 3 minus 2 is 1. So B is 145. Now you want to deduce the angle measures of all of these using the deductive thinking and what is given to us already and our properties. Okay, so don't use any protractors on these. The 145 here is an obtuse angle, and it does look like that B is obtuse. And the figures in this course are pretty accurate, but you can't depend on them exactly as if you wanted to measure them. Okay, so that's our teacher solution. This right here is our statement. That's our reason. Every geometric move, the statement that you make, needs to have a reason. We're writing these angles together as a sum, so I'm not going to subtract off of 360, them off of 360. And I show my nice, neat work. And that's example number 7. Go to number 11 here. Here's another one. We need to find the measure of angle M and the measure of angle N. M and N. Okay, those are right there. Remember, we have 4 properties available to us. We have angles at a point, angles on a line, angles in a right angle, and vertical angles. Okay, with this type of work, there's multiple solution paths. Okay, so let's go ahead and make a plan. It could be like anything. Let's try to look at M first. Okay, so the angles that are around M, we have M here, we have 50 degrees here, and we have a box. The box we can just say is 90 degrees, so I'm going to go ahead and write that in. I also see that M, 50, and 90 are on a line. Okay, so here's my line that I see coming out. Okay, and angles on a line sum to 180. Okay, so for M, I'm going to do angles on the line. And it looks like that I'll just need one statement there. M plus 50 plus 90. Okay, equals 180. All right, so that's my plan for M. Let's go ahead and turn to N and make a plan for that missing angle. N is, so I'm going to do that plan in green. N is right here. What are some relationships with N? Well, we could use angles on a line because N plus 90 plus 50 is also equal to 180. But notice that N is also part of this angle here. That's one of the parts of the angle of N. And this is the other part. And N and M look like they have a relationship here. So I could use angles on a line, or I'm going to go ahead and just try out and show you how to do the vertical angles part, because the blue line and the green line intersect and they form angle N, and that's the same as angle M because they're opposite sides of those in that intersection. So it's vertical angles. So for N, I'm going to use vertical angles, and I'm going to say that, yeah, the N is going to equal to M, whatever that is. Now M, we'll already have found it by then, and so we can go ahead and say that. All right, so there's my plan, and I'm going to go to the teacher solution section to find angle N and M. So what we have here is M first. We're going to use angles on a line. So if you remember that blue part right here, that's the line we're thinking of. M plus 50 degrees plus 90 degrees equals 180 degrees from angles on a line. Whoa. Okay, very good there. And I'm going to go ahead and solve it for M, so that way we can use it later on for N. 50 and 90 makes 140. Subtract 140 from both sides. Those will cancel out. M is equal to 40 degrees. Okay. That's one of the things that we're looking for, so we're going to put therefore in front. So make sure you put those 3 dots. And we can go ahead and write that in our figure so we can use it for n. Now n is vertical angles, that's our plan. And when you use vertical angles, and you can just do it with one statement. And I already know that m is 40, so I'm going to use 40 from now on for m. So I'm going to say that n is equal to 40 degrees. The reason is vertical angles, V-E-R-T, period, angle symbol with an S. And that's the only statement that I need, okay, because that is a very concise way. So you can box your answers if you want. N is 40, m is 40, and we have our answer. All right. Please let me know if you have any questions about any of the others. Send me an email, or we can do a video chat. And great. Hope you guys do okay with the homework.